And so she was like, we got to get you on. We got to get you on treatment. We got to get you on treatment. Honestly, it seemed like it was a rush to get me on treatment, like it was a race. She came in and she like, oh, you young. Mind you, I was 29 at the time. So the cancer had been building in my body since I was at least 25, 26. And she was like, you young. You gonna beat this and this, and this. And I'm just like, yeah, but I ain't finna do no chemo. But, I'm not against chemo. Don't get me wrong. But after all my research that I've done, I have realized that it's not the best option for us. I'm not going to tell nobody not to do it. I love to see the girls ringing the bell. But honestly, ringing that bell means absolutely nothing if you haven't changed your lifestyle. They don't talk about how... 1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome to the Lean Podcast, Ladies Empowerment and Alignment Network. I'm your host, Mahogany, and this is Season 2. Let's start with a short prayer. God, I pray this season speaks to every heart listening. May these stories ignite purpose, restore hope, and remind each woman that she is never alone. Amen.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to Season 2 of the Ladies Empowerment and Alignment Network podcast. Today I have with me DeAngela. She is an entrepreneur and a mom of 3 boys, y'all. Y'all know she's busy with 3 boys, but she made time to come sit with us and share her amazing testimony, her beautiful story that is still in the making. Yet we are excited to share where she is now in hopes that it inspires y'all today. So help me welcome DeAngela.
Yay! Hey, y'all. I'm DeAngela. I am 30 years old. I am a wife and mom of 3 boys. I reside in Fort Worth, Texas, but I'm from North Little Rock, Arkansas. And I moved to Texas 6.5 years ago.
Oh, is that long ago now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
6.5 years ago. And in about 4 years ago, about 4 years ago, I started unintentionally started a healing journey, and now we're here to share.
Yes. So. I love that so much. Speaking of healing journey, like I think I met you now probably like 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I know like even at that point in time when I met you, you were really big on exercise and you were getting your journey like restarted for the umpteenth time, and you were like, this time I'm serious. And y'all, this girl stayed dedicated and serious to her fitness journey. Y'all know me, old Mahogany. I'm like all about fitness and health, and I was always just really inspired by you.
I was inspired by you.
Thank you.
You and your like everything. I love everything, for real.
Thank you, girl. But I just like really loved how you did the baby steps. Like you were letting people know you don't have to go run a freaking marathon. You don't have to be in a gym. You can just literally walk and eat clean, and that's all you need to do. And I remember that is something you were so big into. So, I love that you're going to talk to us today about your healing journey. Yeah. But when we're on a healing journey, healing takes place in so many ways, y'all. It's like our fitness, our mental, our spiritual, our emotional. Yes. It's an entire thing. So whenever we hear, a healing journey, it doesn't always just mean one thing. But for you, what has healing journey meant and what has it looked like?
A healing journey for me has looked like me putting God at the top of every aspect of my life. I'm talking about everything. At the top of my workout journey, at the top of my marriage, at the top of my marriage, at the top of my me being a mom, at the top of me being a woman, it just existing, being a sister, daughter, all of it. The healing journey for me, it just looks like basically I had to relearn life all over again, and it's beautiful. I believe I was set apart for this particular reason, and I'm just appreciative of it.
Love it. I know before you had spoke about being set apart, and you actually had a YouTube series going where you were sharing the messages and the things that God was enlightening you about as they were happening and unraveling in your own life. I really loved that you did that because a lot of us don't take that time to really make that relationship with God first. How has God formed you? have you always like been a spiritual person? Have you always been like walking God's walk for him?
No.
What was it like before you got to this enlightenment?
Okay, so before now, I wasn't a horrible person. So I'm a hairstylist, so I've always done hair, and I've always sort of been like a magnet. So I always like bonded with people, but for me, it was the slightest disrespect even though I was a great person, I still lack self-control. So if you get into it with somebody, sometimes it can come off wrong because you lack self-control. Mm-hmm. So now it's looking like you're wrong. But what I learned was that self-control was really my downfall. Self-control was really my downfall. My mouth, like I could feel things and I could see things, but the devil can feel things and see things too. So if I wasn't filled with the Holy Spirit, I was filled with the enemy, and so feeling things and seeing things brought out a different beast in me, a different beast than what it bring out now, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like I wasn't a monster. But I lack self-control, like, big time. Mm-hmm. And, just like now I do things a lot differently. And, like, my nervous system is regulated. It's just beautiful. Everything is better.
Yes, when you say not a monster but lack self-control, mm-hmm. do you mean, like, one of those people who pop off in a second? Like,
oh, yeah.
Who wants it? Who's saying what?
Like, yeah. And looking back, I realized, like, some of my family, they are the same. They still the same way, but they working on it too. It's like when I look back, I'm like, I know exactly where I got it from. But yeah, they still the same way. I was a hot head, and I wasn't like I hardly ever started the drama. But when you lack self-control, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So yeah, moment.
How has God like most worked on you, or how has He shown you like, hey? How has He like disciplined you or spanked you for lacking self-control?
It took years for this though, because me and my husband been together for 12 years. 12 years next month. So I can use this as an example. Basically, like in the beginning of our relationship, the lack of self-control, like me and him would have a small argument and I would just go off. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about go off, and next thing you know, we talking about this person. And then it just got out of control. And God spanked me when basically all the shaking began, like this, I want to say June or July of 2024, because I had stopped arguing. So basically, it was the you ever heard of the codependency? Mm-hmm. The codependency was a codependency. So basically, when me and my husband first met, he was attached to that broken version of me. Mm-hmm. And once I started healing and I started not arguing and not doing all that, it caused caused a lot of confusion, and it caused us to actually split for a little bit, and then we ended up coming back, and like now everything just makes sense. Everything just makes sense now. It makes a lot more sense to be quiet. It makes a lot more sense to build your partner with your words instead of tearing them down. Even though we stayed together for all those years, it's still like I feel like our lives was stagnant because of who I was. And once I started healing, the whole house started healing. Like the whole house, even though it took that separation and to come back and all of that. Once I started healing, the whole house started healing. That's another thing people don't talk about either. Once you start a healing journey, or once you decide that you're living for God and not in between, not for the devil and not for God, not trying to be in between and be uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. What people don't realize that the battles, they come nonstop. And during that moment, that's the breaking. God trying to break you and just see, you learn a lot. Like I learned a whole lot. From 2025, from January really 2024 it started. Like it just started being intense. So it's like the breaking come and then they come back together. So
Let me ask, so if I'm understanding correctly, basically, as we are conforming into our better selves that God asked us to be and following the walk He's asked us to walk, it's the breaking when you finally agree to do that fully, where you start going through like a, I guess like a off balance time where it is going crazy.
Yeah, it's breaking. For me, it was stuff I was going through things that I would have never went through if I didn't decide which side I was on. I had never experienced some of the things I was experiencing until I decided I'm living for God.
I know during this time, I know I had you were doing my daughter's hair, so I talked to you about what you're going through, what I'm going through, whatever. And I remember something that had happened to you that really like had me shook, and you were just so nonchalant about it. You were doing your walk, your daily walks and stuff, and you had lost a friend around this time that you had really, considered a good friend. And within that same period, you got hit by a car, if I remember correctly, that while you were walking.
Yeah, I was
Tell
walking.
us about that.
I was, so this was when the journey was beginning. So really in the beginning of a spiritual journey, what I learned was when you're in the beginning of that spiritual journey, really you look crazy. You look crazy to a lot of people. So I was walking and I had my headphones on. I was walking, I had my headphones on, and this car, it hit my foot. I turned, I didn't know it was a car. I was crossing the street. I turned and I didn't know it was a car. And so the car hit my foot and it like she turned her wheel, I guess, and she ran into a tree and some bricks or whatever. But in that moment, I didn't realize that I didn't know I had got hit by a car until I turned around, and I'm like, whoa, it's a whole car right here. So I turned around, it's a whole car, and she hit the tree, and then so I'm walking up to her car just to see if she okay or whatever. Everybody's like coming out of their house. They like, what's going on? What's going on? And I'm like, I was like, I just got hit by this car. All I had was a scratch on my on the back of my ankle. And as they was coming out of their houses, they were like, it was loud. I'm like, wait, it was loud? I didn't hear a thing. I didn't hear nothing. When I didn't hear like the car, I didn't hear her hit this tree. I didn't hear anything, but everybody else heard it. And as she got out the car, I actually gave her a hug, and I saw this thing just go by, and I like to believe that it was God, like showing me, like, yeah, I'm real. I'm real. And so that moment right there, I just started crying. They was like, check on her, yeah. They thought something was wrong with me, but I'm like, no, it's deeper than this. So I ended up walking home, and it was that. That was that. Like, it was the getting hit by the car was nothing. It was the way everything happened, and it was just like a eye opener, like God saying, yeah, I'm real.
I remember, I think maybe before that time, where you had saw some sort of bird on your window.
The dove, yeah.
It was a dove in the middle of the night. I think it was like even like dark outside because you had sent us a picture of it, and that was another sign.
Yeah. That was the beginning. That wasn't the beginning of the journey. I feel like, well, I know that was God choosing me. When this dove came down, I was sitting in the car and it just came down. I got out the car. It wouldn't leave, so I ended up going in the house, getting my kids, come back out. The bird was still there, so I was able to pick this bird up. But that was the night after you invited us to come to see that movie. Right? We went to go see that movie. When we left that movie, I for the first time in my, I don't know, it wasn't for the first time in my life, but for the first time in a minute, I had worshiped God like never before on the way home from that movie. And that was the very next day when that dove came down. Like, I'm talking about as I was worshiping, I'm just crying in the car. I can remember going around the curve right there on 287 from 20 to 287. I can remember just crying and just worshiping like never before. And the next day, this dove came down. And before this dove came down, I was already on the journey, but I was healing from the inside. It was God healing my attitude, just opening my eyes. I didn't see things the same. I didn't Like it was more so. It wasn't spiritual at that time. Well, I didn't think it was, but it was just like self help, like stuff you go to therapy for. And so after this bird came down at the end of December of one year, of that. I think it was Christmas. Was that that's Christmas?
It was near Christmas.
Yeah, we went to movies on Christmas that night. So this was the day after Christmas, and after the bird came down, things just that next year, that's when things started getting real spiritual. Like it was like I was having encounters, I was having vivid dreams. It was a lot going on in my family and stuff like that, and like my family had group chats and stuff, and I wasn't in these group chats, but I knew what was going on. Things just started getting real vivid, real clear, and also during this time I was working out consistently. I wasn't eating super clean, but it was fair. But yeah, after that bird came down, everything started getting spiritual. Before the bird, it was like self help stuff. It was like like
I'm doing what I know I'm supposed to be doing, or
yeah,
what could help me.
Yeah, like trying to think.
More like routines.
Yeah, like the 4 Agreements book.
Okay.
Like I had read the 4 Agreements book. It was that book, and then that book made me want to read the Bible. That book opened my eyes. I feel like everybody should read the 4 Agreements. That book opened my eyes and made me look at everything different. But after that, I started reading the Bible. After the bird came, I started reading the Bible. But yeah.
Wow, that's so good. What was like your thought process after that bird incident, the car incident? Did you feel like you had finally found out what your purpose is, or was it still like, I don't know exactly what all this is trying to create for me?
No, the bird when the bird came down, I didn't realize why the bird came down. So the bird came down in 2023, December 2023. So 2024, I didn't get hit by the car until like September, October. And during this time when I got hit by the car, I was already deep in my word, and I was already deep. Like I started changing. The thing with me is I started changing quick. Like I don't have to learn the hard way. So I started changing quick. I started reading my Bible. I started changing the music I listened to, changing the environments. I stopped, I was having all them parties. I stopped having the party. The last party I had was that remember the housewarming. Stopped having the parties. I had stopped doing a whole lot. Like my life was just changing so quickly, and all of that, I feel like all of that was me breaking for who I am now. At the time, I didn't know. I didn't know what my purpose was or nothing like that. But during this time, like a little bit after I got hit by the car, I had an aunt that had a stroke. She couldn't walk or she couldn't talk. And during this time, my purpose was revealed. God revealed it to me then after she had this stroke. But I didn't really know what he meant. I didn't really know. So the thing is, God can give you something, but you got to go do some work too. So she had this stroke, and girl, so she had the stroke. She couldn't walk, she couldn't talk. So I went down there. I'm like, because mind you, before all of this, I had already learned to bless my house with holy oil because I tried the sage. It just didn't work for me. I'm not against it. It just didn't work for me. But so I had already learned to like to bless things with holy oil or whatever. So I went to Arkansas and I just prayed for her and put some holy oil on her. That was cool. But the stuff that I know now, the purpose that God has revealed now, which is which is bagged behind the faith and healing haven, is the herbs that he gave us. On the back of my hoodie, I got Revelations 22:2, and it tells you how the leaves are for the healing. And also during this time, like after I got hit by the car, that was 2024. So all the 2025 went by. It was like a whole lot of breaking and stuff going on. And during this time, actually, a few strangers told me what my calling was. I was in a place where I was real lonely, and a few strangers. It was like I was like, what do I do next? A few strangers. I got one, Miss Lisa. That's my girl, Miss Lisa. I go to her church. I go to her church. Okay, but yeah, she was one of the ones, and yeah.
How did they let you know, and what made you know like this is legit?
Because of when my auntie had the stroke, I always would do this little Bible flip before the stroke. I would always do this when I feel like I haven't heard from God or when I feel like I want some answers. I'll just open my Bible. I call it a Bible flip. I'll just sit and I'll, take me a few deep breaths or whatever and just get my mind clear. And I'll just open my Bible and I'll just start reading. I just before I open, I'll just pray real quick, like, God, I need some answers. I don't know what's going on. And I did this like 3 times. If I had my notebook, I'd be able to give you the exact date. I actually remember texting my sister on this particular day. It had to be like a few days after she had this stroke. I opened my Bible and it was in Luke. It was in Luke when when Jesus was healing all those people. I have did the Bible flip and opened that up. I have did the Bible flip and opened it up to Luke when Jesus was performing all those miracles and he was healing all those people. Probably about 6 times.
Wow. And that's a lot of Bible to keep going back to the same.
Yeah, keep going back
story.
to the same thing. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and at the time I didn't know no better, but now I know.
Mm-hmm. So it's confirmation backed by scripture, where it's like you're hearing things from different people who don't know you, who have no reason to say nothing to you.
Yep.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I can be in public, and I would be like, I remember one time, back in August, I was at a park. And it was a lady at the park, and she was like clutching on her purse, and my baby was on the swing. I only had one of the kids on the swing, and this was like one of the big eye openers. And I was like, wait, like that was awkward. Mm-hmm. But yeah, my baby was like, she was clutching her purse, and she was just like, I want to push him. And in my head, I'm like, why you want to push my baby? You know, why you want to push him on the swing? So, I was like, he ain't gonna let you push him. Just trying to play it. I'm like, he ain't gonna let you push him or whatever. And I was just telling him, like, Kajan, we finna get ready and go. And a little time went by, and she was just like, can I come and sit by you? It was an older, she was actually in this nursing home that was right behind my apartment complex. So she was older. I can't even guess how old she was. Probably about between 60 and 70 years old. And she was a Caucasian lady, and she was like, can I come and sit by you? And I was like, no, because mind you, she was clutching on her purse. So I don't know what was in her purse. I don't know what she had going on. I have an issue with trusting things. So I'm like, no, I'm going to come sit by you. Because in my head, I'm thinking she got something in her purse and she ready to do something. It's so much going on. I always got my guard up. So in my head, I'm thinking she's trying to do something or something. I don't know. I had an issue with trusting things. And she was like, can I come sit by you? I'm like, no, I'm going to come sit by you. And so I ended up going and sit by her. And she just started pouring her heart out. And by the end of our conversation, she was just like, I just feel like you was sent by God. She was like, I'm so happy to meet you. And I haven't seen her no more, talked to her no more since then. And she was just like, I'm so happy you came to this park today. And that's just a mere example. Like, this is my life almost every day. Almost every day. Miss Lisa that I was talking about, met her at the pool. Just randomly had my notebook and my Bible, going to the pool, about to get ready and journal while the kids swim. And she was just like, can I come and talk to you? And she just sat, Miss Lisa literally sat on the edge of the pool, and we just talked about God for like an hour. Wow. For like an hour. And a few days after that, Miss Lisa was looking for me because I was already on this healing journey. The C word. I was already on a healing journey, so I was changing our lifestyle around. I had already started changing what we eat and stuff like that. And then I had told the kids, I was talking to Miss Lisa, and the kids was asking for some chips because there was some people at the pool that was eating chips. And I told Miss Lisa, I said, these kids, they asking for chips. They didn't get no chips. And so 2 or 3 days later, I pulled up, and she was just walking. She turned around. She was like, oh, my God, I've been looking for you for like 3 days. She said she had went in the office. They wouldn't give her my information or nothing. She said she had been looking for me for like 3 days. And so she ended up coming in the house. She ended up buying us some groceries because she thought we had groceries, but it was just me saying they can't get no chips. So she ended up buying us some groceries. And when we got in, she was just like, I just believe, she was like, I believe you're called to heal. And I was like, wow. And it almost became clear to me then, but for some reason it didn't. But yeah.
Wow.
It's a lot of strangers that was telling me like I was lonely. I ain't have nobody around me that was really deep like I was. And it was just like God was really sending the strangers to tell me.
Wow.
And it was becoming normal.
I love that. And I know you just mentioned your healing journey. I know we talked about a lot of stuff that DeAngela's already been through. So, you know, you might be like, what else is there?
Oh.
But, you know, we've only heard a little piece of her story. I'm sure she could tell us more and more and more and more. But I think it's something so beautiful and something you've been carrying so with so much faith and assurance. I just love how through everything you're finding purpose and ways to give God the glory for it. And to me, that's so important because our life is not our own. And sometimes we go through things that we just simply cannot explain why or what. But in this exact instance, I love how sure you are about why and what. I think that's something that we could all really learn from and get clarity on and hone in on when we are faced with challenges or just faced with our purpose about what we're supposed to be doing.
Yes. First, I want to say, I remember when I met you, I always tell Lakeitha, I love the way she healed. You know, you lost your mama and you lost your sister. You didn't go out and do the norm, what I thought was norm. You turned to God for everything. So that was very inspiring. I'll say that first. And that was at the beginning of my journey. Like, that was at the beginning. And so that was inspiring. But as far as faith in Healing Haven. Okay, so basically around the time when I was going and I was doing my Bible flips and I was coming across Luke, I also had a lump in my breast. And I had a lump under my arm. I was diagnosed in the next March, which was 2025. So this was 2024. I'll say between September and November. I've been knew I had the lump. I had the lump for like 4 years, no lie. Like, I had the lump. I just didn't get it checked because I had a breast reduction when I was 16. I had a lump over here before, and they biopsied it, and it was non-cancerous or whatever. So I didn't take the other one serious. So between like September and November of 2024, I was actually laying in my bed. I was laying in my bed and I was on TikTok, and this girl came on TikTok and she was just she was talking about a lump in her breast. She was saying she had breast cancer and how it came back. I don't know how I can get back to that video or what, but I remember this girl had on a pink bra. She only had a bra on in the video, and she was just crying, saying that her breast cancer came back. And for some reason, when I saw this video, my body dropped. Like, everything just dropped. Like, it was awakening. Like, it was like for me. It seemed like I seen that on time, on purpose. And so this was like, but mind you, between September and November of 2024. So basically, I feel like that was God telling me that I had cancer. I had breast cancer. In March of 2025, I was diagnosed with stage 3 or 4 triple negative breast cancer. And this breast cancer it's not hormone driven. It's not a cancer that you get. It's not a cancer that you get from your ancestors, your mom or your grandma. It's not one of those. It's just one that's just environmental. So mind you, I've been doing hair since I was like 8-9 years old, literally. And so it could be from the hair that I was using or the products that I was using. But then so after I was diagnosed, how this came about is I always knew in the back of my head, because it was a little girl that was close to the family. It was actually my sister's little niece. You know how it be. My sister's niece, but it's not my niece on their daddy's side. And she passed away, and I remember when she passed away, and I remember when she was sick, and I would tell my sister, change your diet. So in my head, I always knew if I had some type of chronic disease, that I would change my lifestyle first. So mind you, before I was actually diagnosed, I was already changing a whole lot. So all of this became easy. So when I was diagnosed, I was already deep in my word. I was already following Christ heavily. I was already, just there. I was already there. So I remember when I was going, after I got diagnosed, they did the biopsy or whatever, and came back cancerous or whatever. They diagnosed me. And I remember just going to those doctor's appointments. And as I was going into those doctor's appointments, when I would leave, I would feel so drained. I would feel so drained. And when I went in there, I never felt full. When I went in the doctor's office, my main doctor, the first day, she basically told me, like, she said, "There's nothing we can do. You just got to do chemo." She says, "Nothing you can do. You just got to do chemo. Ain't nothing you did to get it. It ain't. It's just." She said, "You just got bad luck." She straight up looked at me and said, "You just got bad luck." And I'm like, God ain't the author of bad luck. Like who? Like what?
That's wild.
God is not the author of bad luck. So
Yeah.
When she told me that, it struck. And so she was like, we got to get you on treatment. We got to get you on treatment. Honestly, it seemed like it was a rush to get me on treatment, like it was a race. She came in and she like, oh, you young. Mind you, I was 29 at the time, so the cancer had been building in my body since I was at least 25, 26. And she was like, you young, you gonna beat this and this and this. And I'm just like, yeah, but I ain't finna do no chemo. But, I'm not against chemo, don't get me wrong. But after all my research that I've done, I have realized that it's not the best option for us. I'm not going to tell nobody not to do it. I love to see the girls ringing the bell. But honestly, ringing that bell means absolutely nothing if you haven't changed your lifestyle. Mm-hmm. They don't talk about how much the cancer comes back. And I've done so much research and on the cancers and all this and so much. I've watched so many podcasts. My favorite person is Dr. Yaki, the Goddess Collection. I follow her too. Dr. Yaki is like the main one. And also, I got a tooth over here. Can you edit this and put a chart on there for me or something? Yeah. I got a tooth over here. I recently got pulled a few weeks ago.
That's just for my own. I'm editing.
Oh, I got a tooth over here. That I got pulled, and the tooth had been rotten. Dr. Yaki would say when people come in his office, he straight up check their teeth because people have rotten teeth in their mouth that's causing these cancers and heart problems. Like it's teeth. It's called a tooth meridian chart, and the tooth in my mouth had been decaying. It was a silver cap on it, and it had a hole in it. It had been decaying through the silver cap for at least 4 or 5 years because the hole was getting bigger and bigger. But I ain't never take it serious. So I went and got this tooth pulled. I just basically would do everything that Dr. Yaki would suggest to the people. I would do it on my own, but I really want to go see him.
y'all
I really want to go see
help
him.
my girl get to Dr. Yaki, y'all.
Please
share this, Dr. Yaki. We need your help over here.
Okay, so yeah, and yes. He might want us to say Yaka. I don't know, whatever. Look, he might want us to say Dr. Yakai. So basically with all that, so my lump basically, okay, let's go back to the lump. So the lump was 5 centimeters. It was a big lump. I don't have where I actually measured it, but I do have my chart if you want to put that in there, whatever. I got my chart and I got my proof where it was 5 centimeters. Now it's nothing. It's nothing here, but I do still have my lump under my arm, and I'm still working on that. And that's also why I want to go see Dr. Yakai or Yaki, whoever. But yeah, so this came about once I realized that I'm not gonna say all of the doctors we don't have their best interest sometimes. Yeah. And it's not, I wouldn't even say that we don't have their best interests. It's more so they're not taught. Around this time when I was diagnosed, I was around nurses. I was around, I have clients that's nurses and all of that. And I was actually around a nurse every single day. And she knew nothing about what I was talking about. Mm. She knew nothing about the soursop leaves. She knew nothing about the herbal teas for real. And it's nothing personal. It's just that all this is something that I'm noticing. I'm just like, no, I'm just using my discernment in this moment. I'm like, and a lot of the times, honestly, the nurses, they don't live a lifestyle that I would want. Because, mind you, I was already on my journey. So I was already fasting. I was already realizing how food and our environment impact us. So what I realized in this moment was a lot of our everyday things, our dishwashing liquid, our the perfumes, everything we use, almost everything we use every day is poison, and it's filled with cancer-causing chemicals. And so I started trying the herbs from Dr. Yaki and Goddess Collection, and they was working. I have not touched the chemo machine. I got my chemo port and everything. I don't know if they can see it. I got my chemo port and everything. I just never went and got chemo. Wow. Once again, I'm not against the chemo, but I'm gonna change my lifestyle. I'd rather change my lifestyle, and I know that cancer is not what the doctors or what the world has portrayed it to be. And it's so honestly, it's a lot of serious questions that's coming, and we gonna need
Get your mic back.
Okay, we're gonna need some serious answers. It's a lot of kids. If you notice, the kids, they sick, they dying, they getting the flu. They dying from the flu.
Rest in peace, Brielle.
The flu is really killing the kids.
Wow, the flu.
It's kids. They can't even go outside and play football. In the sun, They passing out, just dying. It's not because they just dying. It's because of all the food, all the poison, and the vaccines. And really, honestly, it's time for mainly us to wake up, because it's killing us first. It's not killing them because our DNA is different. And another thing, I came across a study with the soursop leaves. I came across a study. I think it was the UK, and they did this in I want to say 2022 or 2023, where they put the cancer cells. They took African American cancer cells, and this nothing against the Caucasian. I don't do all of that Caucasian black. It's just facts, okay? They put the triple negative breast cancer cells in the thing, and they put from the black woman and a Caucasian woman, and the soursop leaves killed all the cancer cells. All the cancer cells was potently. It killed them quick in the African American, and it did not touch the Caucasian. It didn't move the Caucasian cancer cells. Like they cancer cells were still like I've read so many studies, and in places like Jamaica and stuff like that, they use soursop, they use turmeric as cancer preventative. Chemo preventative methods, which means So the purpose of chemo is to stop the spread, to stop it and shrink the tumor. Soursop did that. Where is the tumor? Soursop did that. Okay, so why do we need chemo? Why we just can't do soursop?
What are your doctors saying to the shrunken tumor without the chemo?
Honestly, the doctors, it's sick because the doctors don't really want nothing to do with me. They don't want to do. They like, oh, we don't want to see you over the phone. We don't want you to go and get blood work. It's like interrogation.
Wow,
it's sick, but it's beautiful. Like it's like some of these fires I'm loving to go through. Like it's like having God with me in the discernment and the facts, and it's like I'm walking through these fires differently, and it's like nothing is stopping me. Like this a whole different fire right here. Like we were supposed to do this a year ago. I remember we were supposed to do this because I remember when I bought my Bible. I bought my Bible in 2024 in December, and I was supposed to do the interview with you in December of 2024, and I'm so glad we didn't do it because I was ready now. Like this a whole different, but whatever. So yeah, the doctors, they really don't want nothing to do. Wow. They don't want, they know, but they want you on chemo and all of this. So it's like I want to see Dr. Yaki, so I don't have to deal with it. I am still walking through a lot of fires, but it's like a different type of, like I have a different type of fire to me, and it's permanent. It's like everything that's happening is so it's so effortlessly done. And even me finding out about the soursop one night, after I was diagnosed with, after I went to the doctor and stuff, I was just laying in the bed, just holding myself. I'm like, God, just heal my body. This can't be it. So I can't actually put a timestamp on it, but I know it was after this moment when I came across the soursop and Dr. Yaki. It was just like in my face. Everything that happened was just like in my face. I didn't have to work hard for it. I didn't have to go and search this stuff. It was just like God was like, here. God was like, here you go. And yeah, so after I had already started trying all the herbs and stuff, and this stuff was working for other things in my life, and I'm also noticing this going down. Like my body feel amazing. Like I feel like when I wake up in the mornings, I feel like I'm like 15 again.
Wow.
Like just imagine how like marriage and as a mom, like just feeling as young as your kids. It's just amazing. Basically, we've been bamboozled. It's a lot of chemicals and stuff, and I just have been woken up on all of it. So the mission behind Faith and Healing Haven is to save our people. To save our people, and it's not nothing against none of the others. So I don't believe these people put the chemicals in the products and stuff to give us cancer, to make us sick. I just believe they just wanted to make some money. My eyes have been open, and ever since I've accepted this calling of healing, I know it's real because I don't have to work for nothing. Even this, like you messaging saying, come on, let's do this. I was all for it because I feel like I was ready for it perfectly. I was perfectly ready for it because, not because, but I feel like I was perfectly ready for it. And it's just like, I didn't know exactly what I would talk about, but I knew that I wanted to talk about cancer and the chemicals and stuff that's out here, and people not knowing no better. We're giving our kids all this poison. And during this time, I also have pull my kids out of school. We're doing homeschool because I want to be in control of what they eating and what they hearing, what they, taking in. I like for a kid to be a kid. It's like full, but mind you, homeschooling is something that I've been wanting to do. I had been wanting to do that. So it's just like, it's perfect right now. With everything, me finding out about so much, it made it easier to do. And now I love it. I will never, my kids will never go back into a school.
Wow.
They will never go back into a school. It's so freeing. And that's another thing. We've been bamboozled. We have been robbed of our freedom. We have been robbed of just being there for our kids, our families, being a mama, being a wife, being a woman. It's so many women, especially black women. And I don't even like to say black women because there's some Caucasian women and stuff like that. They out here struggling too, big time. And it's so many of us that's like we working 2 and 3 jobs, and man, I'm talking about stress through the roof. So that PCOS, the fibroids, they diagnosing everybody with it. They want to cut everybody inside out, talking about a hysterectomy. You don't need none of that. The herbs heal it all. You do not have to get a hysterectomy. That's just a bare minimum. Diabetes, high blood pressure. Since I started my herbs, I used to also get strep throat all the time and yeast infections because I used to get strep throat all the time. And with the strep throat, you got to take the antibiotics.
I remember you used to always
you got to take the antibiotics. So with the antibiotics, I would always get a yeast infection because the antibiotics get all of it out. I mean, mess you up down there, or whatever. And ever since I've started the herbs, I haven't had a fever, blister, yeast infection. I haven't had any of that.
Wow.
Any of it. I haven't had none of it. And to me, that's enough. That's enough. As much as I used to walk around with strep throat like a toddler. Like every 3 months I got strep. Like, come on. But yeah, all that has went away. I don't have those issues anymore. So the motive behind Faith and Healing Haven is for one, keeping God at the top, and two, just using what God has given us. Not saying the doctors are horrible. Not saying I'm against the doctor. Not saying I'm against chemo or any of that. Just saying that there's other options and you don't have to do it. It's not a one-way street. It's not a one-way street. And now I'm seeing a lot of girls. Ringing the bell from breast cancer and all of that. Honestly, what I'm noticing is a lot of them are hairstylists. A lot of them hairstylists. They do hair, but but it's my heart is hurting for them because now they're promoting chemo. They making cancer famous. They're promoting chemo, and it breaks my heart because they didn't have to do it. And now it's just like, dang, I pray for them because I'm like, I hope it don't come back. They don't talk about how much this stuff come back. They don't talk about, oh, you heal from you rung the bell for breast cancer now, but a year or two from now, you will be ringing it from pancreatic cancer or any of the other cancers. It's ringing that bell. Basically, ringing that bell means absolutely nothing if you haven't done a lifestyle change.
Wow,
it means nothing. It means absolutely nothing if you're not working on a lifestyle change. Nothing.
I love that we can get ahead of it, even through Faith and Healing. We don't have to wait till we have a diagnosis or something to start working on it. Right?
Yep. I like prevention. If I would have knew ahead of time, honestly, if I would have even thought that, because I didn't think it was cancer because mind you, I had a breast reduction, so I ain't think nothing about it. And then I was losing weight too, so I thought it was just tissues. If I would have knew that it was cancer, and if I would have knew about soursop, I would have just started taking the soursop. I wouldn't even went and got a biopsy or none of that. I would have just started taking the soursop and just changed my life because I was already on a journey to change stuff anyway. So it would have been easier. But I went to the doctor and got diagnosed.
Well, I can honestly, truthfully say, at this point in your life, I am seeing you at your peak, and it's amazing and crazy. I hate to say crazy, but it's kind of crazy that you're at your peak, and physically you have what people would consider the worst diagnosis you can get in Western medicine. It's but you're at your peak, you're homeschooling your boys, you're doing a business, living in your purpose, helping people, throwing events and hosting events, educating the public. I think that's
Thank
amazing.
you.
I think it's so beautiful. I know what you're doing. It needs to be in a book. Like, I know that there's so much more coming. This is
Thank
just the very
you.
beginning. Y'all are seeing her on, I believe, her first podcast ever.
First podcast.
Right here on the Lean podcast, but it's not going to be her last. You're going to see this lady on stages. You're going to see her in clinics. You're going to see her all over the place.
That's another look. There was something else. A few people told me during this time. They're like, I see you on the stage. Like when I'm telling them what's going on, they're like, wait, I just saw you on the stage. Like Megan, her name, one of them, Megan Tyler, one of my clients. She was like, I see you on the stage. I'm like, hold on now.
Yes,
but yeah, it's beautiful, and I can't say that everything is effortlessly done. I feel free. I wish everybody would get here. And I don't want to. I would never go back. I'll never go back. I don't care what I have to give up. Also, during this time, I have given up everything. We've given up everything. Given up everything. We've given up houses, cars. We have given up anything that's stress. If we can't afford it, we're not doing it. If we can't afford it comfortably, we're not doing it. And we okay with that. We okay with that. So I love it here. Yes. I love it here. Like less is really more. And now I'm out and I'm in public and the light is shining. Yes. And I don't have to have on a $300 pair of shoes. I don't have to have a $400 purse. I don't have to try to fit in. It's like why I want to be picked. Like I used to want to be picked, but the whole time I was chosen. Basically, like used to want like why be picked when you're chosen? That's beautiful. That's just summed up everything, so, like my whole life. And right now it's like God. The Bible say you're not supposed to boast about the future. And I keep trying to, keep my heart parts to good, but I gotta say my hope levels are up here. Yes. Like it's over.
Yes,
it's over.
It's over, and it's just the beginning at the same time.
This just the beginning. Just the beginning.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's been a whole journey. But most of the people in the Bible, they break it, and they everything they went through went on for like 3 years. I think minimum 3 years before they started shining. And I feel like now it's been 4 years for me total for everything. And I feel like I'm finally walking in purpose. I'm finally doing what I'm supposed to do just because of how I don't have to really lift a finger for nothing.
Yes, I love that.
So, yeah.
That's the ultimate peace. That's the ultimate destination for sure.
Thank you.
So if today, we're happy you're here. We hope you don't go anywhere. But if it was your last day on earth, what advice would you give to the world?
Get a relationship with God. I wouldn't have been able to do anything. I couldn't imagine getting a diagnosis without having a relationship with God. The breast cancer that I have is considered the most deadliest breast cancer. It's triple negative. It's supposed to be the most deadliest one, especially in the black women. But that's because the chemo is not really for the African American women. But it'll be just get a relationship with God. It wouldn't be nothing else. The relationship with God it's gonna withstand anything you go through. You cannot make it without God. You can't. And it's time to tell the devil no. The devil is everywhere. You gotta, like I said in the beginning, you gotta put God at the top of every aspect of your life. That means some of these foods, they putting poison in the food. That's the devil. That means schools. It's demons in the school. The teachers are horrible sometimes, and the students, like they fill with the poison in their brains. It's demonic everywhere. So putting God before everything in your life, and it just make everything better. Like literally, I'm talking about that marriage. Look, that man is all over me now. I'm talking about we split this, right? This, whatever they do. I'm talking about, girl. God got to come first before everything. If I can do it all again, I would. 100 times. Yeah, God just got to come first. I wouldn't do nothing else. I won't do nothing else without God. Yeah. So now I find myself praying about a lot because girl, I done jumped into a whole lot of stuff before now. But now, anything I jump into, it's always a prayer first. Yeah, God gotta come first. Now it's no other option.
I love it so much. Well, y'all, thank you so much, DeAngela, for sharing just a little glimpse of your story with us tonight. The Faith in Healing Haven. You can find her at the bottom of the show notes. Make sure you guys click that link. You know, I know so many of us are going through things internally, and she has some amazing herbs that will really change your life as they're doing in her own. You know, as y'all heard her say earlier, she wouldn't even done a biopsy had she known about soursop and a lot of the other herbs that she has in her store. So please check her out, follow her story and follow her journey. Cheer her on. Share this with Mr. What's our doctor's name?
Oh, Dr. Yaki.
Dr. Yaki.
Yaki Awaken.
Please share it with him. You know, maybe this will reach him. But we appreciate you, DeAngela, for being on here. I don't take it lightly that you shared your story for the first time on my podcast.
Yes, also this is my first time publicly speaking on the cancer situation. Only people knew there was people that was close to me, but I'm tired. Like, I've dropped the Faith and Healing Haven, and now I just need, like, it's just like, I don't want people to say, oh, she just coming out with herbs. Like, no, baby, let me tell you something. Let me show you something. Yeah. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Yes. Well, we'll have her back on to see how her journey progresses and how things are going. But until next time, thank you. Thank you
so much.
I wish I could do a hug, but it's always so awkward.
Bye.